my colleague May. I haven't heard from her, so I don't know if she'll be here or not. Hi.
Hi.
I'm not going to remember all the names. I barely remember mine this morning. That's why I actually had a little name tag. I had my name on it all morning so I could remember. Okay, moving right along. You can edit that part out. My name is Mitchell Kersher. I am a naturopathic physician, not licensed in Florida, so don't ask me for prescriptions of any kind or any kind of disease control. I will be doing general approach to the health. Does everyone know what a naturopathic doctor is? Does anyone know?
Naturalist.
Okay, how'd you come up with that one?
Because it's in the word. No.
I had a naturopath back in Chicago
Not the same.
who is different, but did a lot more Eastern medicine.
Okay. Let me just fill you in a little so you know who's talking to you and who will be sharing the floor. I went to medical school. I started off on my health career. I grew up and lived in Miami and did the whole Miami-Dade Community College, trying to figure out what I want to do when I grew up, and finally something hit me where it was time to make some changes. And that's when I started in the health field. It's just around 30 years ago. I've been a personal trainer. I've been a massage therapist. I still do some, but not for income, just for pleasure. And then I went and started to explore food. Began to realize that, you know that saying, you'll never work out more than you can eat, unless you're a professional athlete. So there had to be a balance. And that's when I went to exploring more about food. And at the time, while I was in massage school down in Miami, one of my classmates turned into a good friend, introduced me to becoming a vegetarian. And of course, I went on into becoming a vegan. And I did that for 9 years. And does everyone know what a vegan means?
Mm-hmm.
We used to say, we don't eat anything that ever had a face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that depends on how you look at broccoli. I see a face in broccoli, what can I tell you?
Well, and eggs don't have a face, right? They come from something that has a face.
Right, like honey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honey was also on the non-vegan included list. Well, I did that for 9 years. And during that time, I also took a variety of cooking classes. I had to know what to do with tofu. Because by itself, it's basically plaster with less flavor. So I became well-versed, and I was not only taking cooking classes at the time, I then was turned around and my instructor said to me, I think you should teach this class on nutrition, vegetarian nutrition. I said, teach? How am I going to teach if I just finished taking it? And you know what that's saying? If you really want to know a subject, teach it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, I'll teach it if you stand over my back and be my shadow and be my mentor. He said, there we go. And that's how my career started. And then from there, I was like, okay, this is fantastic. Now what's next? I began to realize I didn't want to do massage therapy for 50 years. There's just not enough life left after that. And I wasn't going to be a personal trainer, but I loved all the aspects. And that's when I started to explore all the different realms of healthcare. I looked into chiropractic, I looked into acupuncture, and they all seemed wonderful in their own right, but it was missing something. And that's when I found naturopathic medicine. And I went to school out in Portland, Oregon. Quite a change from Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quite a change. I remember the worst year, and I say worst, I mean weather-wise, in the month of February, I think it was 1997 or 98, we calculated 8 hours of sunshine the whole month.
Ooh.
The whole month. And I was like, okay, I have got to get out of here. So from there, after graduating, took me a few times to pass my board exams. That's another story, we don't have time for that one. I was like, okay, where am I going next? And the Southwest called to me. So upon graduation and passing my boards, I looked around the Southwest and landed in Taos, New Mexico. And that's where I set up private practice with a colleague. We were going to have a naturopathic clinic. And we did for about 9 months. And then you know what they say about the doo-doo hitting the fan. Well, the issues came up and it was time for me to move on. I went off, started my own practice in a clinic setting. There were 7 other practitioners and held private practice for about 10 years. And then I realized there's more out there for me to be doing. My father had gotten ill. I decided he was still living here. I was coming back and forth. So I came back one last time, went back, closed my practice, and then just was still trying to figure out what was next. And I knew the food was a big component. Because what is it that most people can't go very long without? No, breathing. I knew you were going to say food because that's what
That was a setup.
And if it was, you're going to have to pay attention here. There's like stuff like that all day long, all right? No, food. But do you realize that most people can go about a month to 2 months without eating? You know that you have about 4 minutes without breathing, depending on your lung capacity. Water is the next important factor. I wanted to bridge it all together, so the next step for me seemed pretty straightforward. Culinary school. So I came back after my dad had passed away and left my stepmom behind. And she never had children, so she lived down in Pembroke Pines, of which I travel down about once a week and help visit, take care of, look in on. She's going to be 90 in 2 weeks and still on her own. Thank you, God. Still takes care of herself and still drives, except for when I'm there. And yeah, I do the driving.